No one talks about this part of recovery. Everyone celebrates you when you quit. Everyone claps when you get sober. Everyone says, life will get better now. But what they don't talk about is what happens years later. What happens in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s when you've been clean for so long but you still wake up with a chest full of fear, a mind full of panic, and a body that refuses to feel safe. This video is for every adult who quit the substances but the anxiety stayed, for everyone who fixed the addiction but not the nervous system, for everyone who saved their life but still struggles to live it. You are not broken, you are not weak, and you are not alone. When you quit drugs or alcohol, everyone says the same thing. Once you stop, everything gets better. Your anxiety will go away. You'll feel normal again. You just need to heal. But nobody tells you the truth. Sobriety doesn't erase the anxiety that caused the addiction in the first place. Sobriety doesn't magically repair your nervous system. Sobriety doesn't fix childhood trauma. Sobriety doesn't rebuild the parts of you that broke long before the substances ever entered the picture. And so what happens? You quit the thing that numbed your pain, but the pain is still there. You take away the coping mechanism, but not the reason you needed it. You get older, but the fear inside you stays the same age it was when it first formed. There's a reason anxiety often hits harder as we get older, even after we get sober. First, your childhood wounds grow with you. What wasn't healed at 12 shows up at 32. Second, your nervous system never got a chance to reset. Years of panic, fear, stress, and adrenaline don't just disappear because you stopped using. Your body is still on high alert. Third, life gets heavier. Bills, family, relationships, health, responsibility, pressure. You're sober now, but you're carrying more than you ever did while you were using. Fourth, you no longer have that off switch. When you used, you had a shortcut to peace. It was unhealthy, but it was reliable. Now, you have to face everything sober, and that experience alone can trigger massive anxiety. And finally, your brain chemistry has changed. Years of substance use disrupt crucial neurotransmitters like GABA, dopamine, and serotonin. Even years later, the effects can remain. This is not your fault. It's biology. This part is painful, but we need to talk about it. Adults over 30 often feel ashamed to admit they're still anxious. Society expects you to be strong, stable, calm, confident, and over it. You're supposed to be emotionally mature, responsible, and healed. So when you feel crippling anxiety at 33, or you're having panic attacks at 38, or dealing with insomnia at 41, you don't tell anyone. You suffer in silence because people say things like, "You've been sober for years, why are you still anxious? Shouldn't you be past that by now? Just relax, you're older now, why are you still scared?" But here is the absolute truth. You're not anxious because you're weak. You are anxious because you have lived a life that would break anyone. Most adults who struggle with long-term anxiety after addiction share one thing: childhood emotional trauma. And I'm not always talking about the big, obvious traumas. Sometimes it's the small, silent, invisible ones. Things like emotional neglect, growing up in a chaotic household, or always having to be the quiet or good child. It could be bullying, immense pressure to be perfect, a constant fear of disappointing others, or an unstable environment. It could be fear-based parenting or having early panic moments that no one understood. That child, the one who never truly felt safe, is still inside of you, and getting sober often brings that child right back to the surface. You're not just anxious today. You're re-feeling the accumulated anxiety of the kid you used to be, the one who never got the help they needed. You worked so hard to quit, you rebuilt your life, you became responsible, you matured, you grew up. So why do you still feel overwhelmed, scared, tense, on edge, restless, and unsafe? Why do you feel like something terrible is about to happen, like you're failing, like you're behind in life, or like you're just not normal? Because sobriety doesn't fix the nervous system, only healing does. Because sobriety doesn't erase trauma, only processing it does. And because sobriety doesn't calm the fight or flight response, only regulation does. You quit the substances. Now the real work begins. You must quit the fear. So here's what your anxiety really means. You're not weak. Your nervous system is exhausted. You're not unstable. Your body is still trying to protect you from old danger. You're not failing. You're healing from decades of fear. You're not still an addict. You're a sober warrior with an unhealed wound. You're not behind in life. You're rebuilding with scars. You didn't fail recovery. Recovery is happening right now, slowly, painfully, and deeply. You are not broken. You are human. If you're listening to this and you're over 30 or 40 or 50 and you're still dealing with anxiety years after quitting, hear me, you didn't get sober too late. You didn't heal too slowly. You didn't ruin your life permanently. You didn't miss your chance. You are right on time. Your anxiety is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that your nervous system desperately needs love, safety, and healing. You already did the hardest part. You quit the substances. Now it's time to heal the person who needed them. You're not behind. You're rebuilding. You're not weak. You're recovering. You're not alone. You're one of millions who survived something that should have destroyed you. And now it is your time to feel peace again. Subscribe for daily videos on anxiety, addiction recovery, and nervous system healing. Your sober life is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of the real one. Thanks for watching.